Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Schools. I feel like this is the perfect time to do a cap space update. We got to talk about the fact that Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin, our first and second round picks respectively, have both finally signed their rookie deals. Our rookie class is done. We're good to go. The rookies reported for training camp yesterday, as in the 21st. The veterans report the 25th, and then we officially start training camp practice as of the 26th. But again, rookies report yesterday, so of course we had to get those deals done yesterday. That would be crazy to have our first and second round picks not signed, and the rookies are already coming to training camp to practice and everything like that, especially in the ridiculous heat that everybody's having to deal with right now. But of course, I think also with those deals done, we're going to talk about how much money they're getting and how much cap space we have left. Most importantly, for a guy like a Cameron Curl, is there a chance that we can sign him to a long-term deal? Especially if, again, I feel like the timing is perfect because now that Josh Harris is taking over, now if Ron Rivera and those guys, Martin Mayhew, want to make moves, sign guys to long-term deals, or even bring in outside free agents, now is the time because you have the official owner in place and he can sign off on whether to do things or not. So this is the perfect time. Remember, John Com said months ago that Ron Rivera and company, one of their biggest priorities of this entire offseason, all the way back in like February, March, was to sign Cameron Curl long term. I would just imagine that that's the same feeling that they have right now. It was just all about waiting for the ownership to take over. So is that still a priority? Not exactly sure, but again, we're going to do a deep dive into the cap space. How much money do we have left? How much Cameron Curl may want in a potential deal? We're going to take a look at some of his peers and how much safeties around his talent level or production level are making, and can we afford that? Should we just go ahead and do it right now before he has a crazy 2023 season and then he's having an even larger asking price in the 2024 offseason? I say we definitely should get it done now. So we're going to dive into all of that and more, but before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, man. Stay tuned. I'm working on all the film sessions. My computer being broke for like 2 weeks set me back a little bit, but we're gonna get those film sessions done before week 1. I promise you that. Also, make sure you stay tuned for all of the constant Commanders news. I'm still working on some more Rico reports with all of the random stuff going on in Commander Land, even outside of the team being sold and training camp stuff. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on everything. Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, all of that stuff off the field. Jason Wright, any moves they're making with the stadium. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the field, everything going on with training camp. I'm gonna upload the daily practice clips of all of that and do my daily analysis of everything that's going down in practice. But on top of that, a lot of random things just happen, random rankings of people talking about Sam Howell, people talking about Terry McLaurin. Y'all know how those Rico reports go, where it's just extremely random, so I'm gonna keep hitting y'all with those as well. And without further ado, sorry for talking so long in the intro, let's get it.
You tell your family you can be a commander.
So it is official. Emmanuel Forbes and Jartavius Martin are officially under contract. As you can see by these pictures, they look very happy. Us as Commanders fans, the Commander Nation, the coaches, everybody, I'm pretty sure we're happy as well to finally have that out the way. I don't exactly know what was taking so long. Maybe it was literally just a matter of Josh Harris and company taking over to where they can officially just go ahead and get that deal done. But I feel like it's more so, if anything, maybe Emmanuel Forbes was doing his own thing, Quan Martin was doing his own thing, probably hanging out with their families and stuff. And then once now it's time to officially report the training camp, they have to be in Ashburn with the coaches, with the front office and guys like that. Now was the time to get it done. If you don't get it done before guys start to go on vacation, you pretty much have to wait until guys start reporting for training camp. So I guess the timeline kind of makes sense. But it's just really interesting how long it took. Now, of course, Emmanuel Forbes was the number 16 overall pick in this past 2023 draft. Took him in the first round. We even wanted to trade up for him. We really tried to. And remember, Emmanuel Forbes, 22 years old, was second team All-SEC in 2021 before being named first team All-SEC and consensus first team All-American in 2022. Arguably the best cornerback in all of the country last year. During his 3-year college career, Forbes recorded 150 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 14 interceptions, including 6 pick sixes that he returned for touchdowns, and 20 pass deflections in 35 career games. Those are some ridiculous stats, especially in the SEC, man. And then also moving on to Jatavius Martin, the 47th overall pick, the guy that we took in the second round, who's going to play some slot for us, some free safety, some strong safety, some star or Buffalo nickel with the Commanders call it. He's going to play basically everywhere in the secondary, and he even has experience playing outside corner if you truly need him to do that in the pinch or to throw a quarterback off. You know, Quan Martin's one of those pieces, those chess pieces, those secret weapons that you never know what he's doing after the ball is snapped. And so that's going to keep quarterbacks on their toes. Offensive coordinators up late at night. It's going to make quarterbacks hesitate. You know, that one step away that Montez Sweat always is from turning a pressure into a sack. Jartavius Martin may be one of the strongest contributors for Montez Sweat actually having a double-digit sack season, because guys like Quan Martin, I mean, just imagine pre-snap, you're looking. Everybody's okay. He's right there. Looks like he's going to cover him. He's right there. Looks like he's going to cover him. And then suddenly after you snap the ball, everybody switches places because Quan Martin is a guy that can play free safety, strong safety, slot corner, wherever. And then you have guys like Kendall Fuller that is pretty similar in that way, just nowhere near the athlete, but smarter. Of course, with him being an older veteran, of course, smarter. I think Jartavius Martin has a way higher ceiling than a Kendall Fuller. I think he can end up being an even better Kendall Fuller. Then you have guys like Cameron Crowe that play all around the secondary. Derek Forrest can play all around the secondary. Everybody can be in a certain position pre-snap. As soon as the ball is snapped, everything just completely changes. The quarterback has to hesitate. And then just going on throughout the game, after a quarterback sees that once, now he's like overthinking things, and he's going to hesitate even more throughout the game. So, man, I'm really happy that we got Jartavius Martin. Some people feel like it was a reach in the second round. I'm telling you, you're not going to miss that second round pick. I'm telling you, when he gets on that field and starts balling out. Martin, he's 23 years old, 1 year older than Emmanuel Forbes, was named second team All Big Ten in 2022 for Illinois, arguably the best secondary in college football last year, at least one of, and he was arguably the best player on it, at the very least the most versatile, on the same secondary that has Devon Witherspoon. During his 5 seasons of college football, Martin appeared in a total of 50 games and recorded 225 tackles, 1 sack, 7 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. This guy's a stat sheet stuffer as well, man. He's going to be a strong contributor. And again, all of the rookies reported to training camp, and I'm assuming that includes the undrafted free agents as well. So everybody that's new to the team, that's young, that just now hit the NFL, again, whether you were drafted or not, everybody reported yesterday. And John Quan put up the weather report for the next few days before the veterans report, and man, the lowest high is 93 degrees. Then you have 97 on Thursday, 98 Friday, 94 Saturday. So man, thank goodness we went ahead and got those guys signed, bro, because whoo, boy, to be out there in the crazy heat like that and you haven't even received your check, you haven't even signed your contract, I can't even imagine. So I'm glad that we went ahead and got that done. Of course, the workouts are closed until it's open to the public, so we won't get any clips or anything coming from that unless like the Washington Commanders officially post that themselves, like on their Twitter account. Also, just to let you know, safety Xavier Henderson was placed on the PUP list, but everybody else seems perfectly healthy. We'll see if Jamin Davis is fully recovered yet with the surgery that he got like pretty soon after that finals game against the Cowboys. Then we got to check on guys like Kazmir Allen, an undrafted free agent who we hope takes over as the starting punt returner for us. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. John Ridgway was hurt a little bit as well, but he was practicing in individual drills and mandatory minicamps and things like that. Curtis Samuel missed like the last 2 days of mandatory minicamp, but they said it was more so precaution and just, you know, kind of like a veteran's day off. It wasn't that serious. So we're going to get some updates on how healthy everybody is. But as of right now, just from my point of view, everything I've heard and seen so far, it seems like we're like as healthy as the NFL gets, because the NFL, you're never going to be 100% healthy, but for NFL standards, we are as healthy as it gets. So that's one thing to be very optimistic and proud about, and just happy about in general entering training camp. Of course, along with the fact that we have a new offensive coordinator / assistant head coach, a new starting quarterback, and most importantly, a new owner. This is going to be really fun. I mean, the offensive line, we have a lot of changes around this roster, but those are like the major ones. And then of course, just to update y'all on the exact contract numbers, Emmanuel Forbes signed a 4-year fully guaranteed deal worth $15.4 million, while Quan Martin inked a 4-year $7.6 million contract with $5.1 million guaranteed, because of course the difference between a first round pick and a second round pick, the money's just different, the guaranteed money, all of that. And of course, Emmanuel Forbes being drafted in the first round, he has a 5th-year option. Hopefully by the time we get there, we want to pick that up, unlike what we did with Chase Young. We'll see how that goes though. But Forbes' cap hit for 2023 is $2.8 million, and Quan Martin's cap hit for this season is $1.39 million. So total, both of those guys are less than $4.2 million against the cap this season. So nothing much to really worry about. Also, just to let you know, Xavier Henderson, who was placed on the PUP list, will still count against the 90-man roster limit, just to go ahead and give y'all that random update as well. Now, let's look at the cap space situation. How much cap space do the Commanders have after signing Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin to their deals? We officially now have $9.324 million worth of cap space, which is pretty good, because you got to remember and you got to factor in that Cameron Curl is already $3 million against the cap space. So if you're talking about re-signing him, that salary is going to increase. So if you really want to look at it in the right way, correctly, like if you're thinking about signing Cameron Curl long term, take away that $3 million worth of cap hit that he has currently, because with this new deal, that would pretty much go away and they would just come up with a new number. Basically, we really have like $12.3 million worth of cap space. Also, Andrew Norwell, who's on the PUP list, is taking up $5 million worth of cap space, and they said basically once he's healthy enough to be removed off the PUP list, we're going to release him and probably get a lot of that cap space back. So we potentially have somewhere between $12 million and $17 million worth of cap space. Is that enough for Cameron Curl to get a long-term deal done? We'll see. We got to dive into the stats. I mean, of course, we're not just going to spend all of that money on him. Like, say, worst case scenario, we technically have $12 million worth of cap space willing to give Cameron Curl. We're only going to give him like $10 million. We're not going to get that close. We're going to keep like an extra $2 to $3 million cushion at the very least, I feel like. So ultimately, that pretty much erases his $3 million. We have like $9 million per year looking range minimum. Again, maybe we can get up to $14 million per year. But again, let's take a look at what the safeties are making around the league. Well, first of all, let's take a look at what Cameron Curl looks like amongst the safety groups. Like, where does he rank? Well, Madden EA, they don't like him at all. They don't even have him as a top 20 safety. They have Derwin James, number 1, D'Amica Fitzpatrick, Justin Simmons, Kevin Byard, Jesse Bates III, Tyrann Mathieu, Buda Baker, Jordan Poyer, Harrison Smith, Micah Hyde, then Marcus Williams, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, Jimmy Ward, Antoine Winfield, Talanoa Hufanga, Kyle Duggar, Eddie Jackson, Javon Holland, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Again, I don't even know where Cam Curl is in that ranking. He's an 83 overall, and those final two guys I told you about are 84 overall. So maybe he's like tied for 21st or something like that. But all I know is they don't have him as a top 20 safety. And then even when you look at Pro Football Focus, they ranked the top safeties in the NFL entering the 2023 season before we go into training camp. They have him literally 20th, right behind Jaron Kearse from the Dallas Cowboys, Eddie Jackson of the Chicago Bears, Harrison Smith of the Vikings, Jamal Adams, and so on and so forth, which is just crazy because they even admitted with their grading system with an 82.9 overall grade last year, he was the second best, highest rated safety out of the entire NFL according to their grading system. And then they come out and rank him 20th in their top list. That's really interesting. I don't know who put the article together. I don't know why they're not seeing eye to eye. They're not agreeing with their own data and analysis, whatever. But either way you look at it, a lot of the NFL, I'm pretty sure the Commanders are higher on Cameron Curl. I'm pretty sure a lot of smart people are higher on Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl is easily better than the top 20 safety. I feel like easily top 10. I can't remember exactly who it was, but somebody recently, like a couple of weeks ago, put out a list of like safety tiers. They had like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and they didn't like rank guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. It was just tier 1 safeties, tier 2 safeties. Cameron Curl was one of the 8 tier 1 safeties. So I don't know why. I completely agree with that. Money wise, I hope that Cameron Curl's agent doesn't see it that way. I hope his agent sees it the way that Madden and Pro Football Focus see it. But I completely agree with that tier list where he's one of those top 8 safeties. I feel like that should be easy to argue if you just simply look at the tape and how important he is for this defense. But going into contract negotiations, is his agent going to look at that tier list, or is he going to look at the Madden ratings? I doubt he's going to look at either one, but at the end of the day, even as great as Cameron Curl is, he's not one of those guys that gets a lot of interceptions. He does all of the little things, all of the dirty work that nobody else wants to do. He makes everybody around him better, and it's hard to kind of quantify that on paper. So it's kind of hard for his agent to come to the Commanders, Ron Rivera, Martin Mayhew, all of those guys, and be like, this is how much we're asking for, because then Ron Rivera and those guys are just going to be like, we love Cameron Curl, but if you look at his stats, he's not putting up crazy coverage numbers like interceptions, pass deflections, and stuff like that. He's a strong contributor to the team, and I want nothing more to sign him long term, almost to whatever number he wants. Like, I would almost hand him a blank check. It just depends on what money we're talking about. That's why I'm not saying a complete blank check, but like, man, I'm willing to give him $15 million a year if that's what he wants, type of thing. But again, with the way our cap space is currently constructed, we're not going to be able to give him that. And at the same time, if we're looking at the top 20 safeties in the NFL and how much money they're making annually right now, in the 20th, like the 20th highest paid, well, tied for 19th, Marcus May and Von Bell are making $7.5 million per year. So if Cameron Curl's one of those guys, then he should only be making less than 8. I mean, you can go all the way up. If you even want to say he's a top 10 safety, Marcus Williams is making $14 million a year. Again, I'd be willing to give him that. So, hey, man, if he's somewhere between $14 million and $8 million per year, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm happy with that. Again, I'm willing to pay him even 15. I feel like he's that big for our defense. But then the question asks, all of these guys we got to pay. Curtis Samuel's contract ends at the end of the season. Same thing with Kendall Fuller. Same thing with Antonio Gibson. A lot of these guys, a lot of our defensive edge rushers like Depp, like Casey Tiller, FL Bada, all of those guys. Khaleke Hudson is just re-signed to a 1-year deal. Same thing with Jeremy Reeves. And then you, of course, you got Chase Young and Montez Sweat fighting for the same contract. So, hey, man, this 2024 offseason, player retention is going to be really difficult, but I'm hoping that we sign Cameron Curl to a long-term deal because, again, like I said in the intro, the price is only going to go higher, especially with the Commanders. Ron Rivera's already come out and said that they want Cameron Curl to play pure strong safety. They don't want him in the box as much as he's been the past few years for the Commanders. They want him to basically be in coverage more and playing against the run and making tackles in the run game less, so they want him to stay healthier. So, first of all, he's going to play more. If the theory works and he plays more games, he's going to play more. He's going to be able to put up more statistics that way alone. And then also, I just think with the improved secondary, the draft picks that we had, Montez Sweat and Chase Young fully healthy, fighting for their lives, for their next contracts, they're about to put their heart into this game this season. I just think our defense is going to be so elite, and I think his job is going to be so easy. He's going to be able to play so much more free, and he's going to be able to create more turnovers. I think statistically, he's going to have his best season so far that he's had in the NFL for healthy reasons, for the players around him, the help he's going to have, so where he doesn't have as much responsibility. He's going to be doing less against the run and coverage more often, so all of those interception statistics that plays a part into those contract negotiations, he has a better chance of getting more of those, pass deflections, all of that type of stuff. So I'm pretty sure, if anything, the price is only going to go up. And for a third reason, every year the market for all of these position groups reset pretty much everywhere except for running back, sadly. I mean, another safety is going to get the money that they want. A few of them, a handful of them, are going to pretty much make the price go higher, and then Cameron Curl is going to be looking like, okay, well, if these guys are making this much, I feel like I deserve this much. So Commanders, go ahead and get ahead of that early. Go ahead and pay him this offseason because, again, by the time we get to 2024, I feel like he's going to have such a great season. He may even make a Pro Bowl, and at that point, the price is going to be somewhere that we know for sure we can't reach him. We're just going to end up having to franchise tag him or just let him walk in free agency, and I really do not want that to happen with a homegrown talent, 7th-round pick that we developed. Like, that would just hurt my heart, man. Cameron Curl's one of my favorite players on the team. I mean, even just his accent-wise, I mean, he's just the closest to, like, I know he's from Arkansas, but whenever I hear videos, I literally think it's somebody from Atlanta. Like, just the way I can relate to Cameron Curl is just on another level, even just beyond the fact that he plays for the Commanders. His personality, all this stuff. So I would be really crushed if we don't end up keeping him long term. So go ahead and get ahead of that, Commanders, please. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that, because it really helps the channel and it makes sure that you get notifications each and every time I release these videos, instead of randomly you'll sometimes get notifications, sometimes you won't, all of that type of stuff. And of course, appreciate all the support, man. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Let me know in the comment section about this whole Cameron Curl situation, how late we were to signing our first 2 picks in the draft and things like that. Is that an area of concern, or was that just simply waiting for Josh Harris, waiting for guys to come back for vacation like I hypothesized? Let me know how you feel about everything. Do you feel like are you optimistic about the fact that we will get a Cameron Curl deal done before week 1 of this regular season? All of that type of stuff, man. We already paid Deron Payne, we paid Terry McLaurin, we paid Jonathan Allen. I think Cameron Curl is easily next in line. So let me know how you feel about all of that, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.